Hey, what's up? I'm John Hansen. Welcome to another edition of Hansen's Hints. Whether you're watching this on video on our YouTube page or listening to it in podcast form, do note that there is also an article on the website, fantasypoints.com, about drafting from all 12 draft positions. But this video and podcast is all about the number 6 draft position. And quickly to recap what I'm doing here, every year I do my draft plan article. It maps out my plan of attack at every position, when I'm attacking for each position and with whom, the players that I'm going to target, narrow down the top 300 players to my top 70. That is a pretty elite company there, my targets. And I also draft a bunch of teams from various spots on the board there, 1 through 12, and I put the plan in action. So this year we're doing a video/podcast and an article for all 12 spots. And again, we're up to number 6. So the number 6 pick this year really comes down to one thing. Do you go with Travis Kelce or not? Now, maybe Travis Kelce goes at 5, but I doubt it. He'll probably, more often than not, land to you at 6. Well, unfortunately, I had to do the video over. So after multiple attempts, so it was a serious process here, trying to map out and figure out the best possible route. And I think I got it. And without any further ado, let's get into the video. Here, we'll use the Fantasy Points Generator software, of course, available to subscribers to the website. And we'll see how we do. We will not always go by the computer recommendation, but we do more often than not. And then at the end, we'll see how I drafted, and we'll add up all the points we're drafting against the computer and against some really tight ADP. We'll see how I make out of the 6 hole. Do I go Kelce? We shall find out as we go now to the video. And if you're listening on the podcast, just hang with us. We'll draft a team 15 rounds, PPR, from the number 6 hole. All right, here we are at the Fantasy Points Generator, ready to go. If you see my little clock up here, you see it's Tuesday night, August 1st, 8:59 Eastern, if you must know. So this is very current. We are going to be drafting a team out of the number 6 spots. And it does get more difficult as you move into the middle portion of round number 1. So same drill. If you've seen the other videos or read the other articles, 12-teamer, we'll do 15 rounds, snake draft. We can do a bunch of other things here with the Fantasy Points Generator. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 0.0 kickers and defenses. I've said goodbye to those people. Do not miss it at all. We'll go with a PPR scoring, 2 flexes if you must know. That is what we do at fantasypoints.com, our staff dynasty league, which I'm looking to get off the schneid after an ugly year last year. I kind of tanked it, but let's get to it. We are going to mock to our pick here if you're watching the video, but if you're listening to this via podcast, I'll try and make it as painless as possible. We are at number 6. And just to give you a full disclosure, per the software off the board, using ADP, but not completely married to it. Some randomization built in there. We open Jefferson, Chase, McCaffrey, Kupp, Tyreek. Now, the decision to me is Kelce or Eckler. I previously thought it was Eckler. The answer was Eckler because the way the draft and ADP set up, this is a good spot to get Kyle Pitts. You can get him in, I think it was the 6th round, but I've done several versions of this video /article/podcast of drafting a team from 6, and I've had to redo, undo, and completely start from scratch, which is what I've done with this one because I did find the route, and we'll start with the software's recommendation because it is the recommendation. Boy, this Fantasy Points Generator, if you've been on the software for a number of years, you know it loves Travis Kelce, and it has not been wrong. So let's go with it. And now we're into round number 2. off the board since we took Kelsey or Eckler. All your cast of characters here that you would expect: Diggs, A.J. Brown, Bijan, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, Chubb, Waddle, J.T., Johnny Taylor. Some serious issues there. And then Chris Olave. So it's a tough spot. It's a little bit of a wide receiver run. And we're down to the usual receivers we're considering here in round number 2. And I do believe it's very important. I've gone through this. We're going to pass up on Saquon Barkley and Tony Pollard and even Derrick Henry. And we're just going to be patient and get a wideout that we like, who's young, probably still ascending. I know he's only a 2, but we're going to do Devontae Smith because, again, we really want to get in with the wideouts, and we open with Travis Kelce. So it's a little tougher. So I think we need to be aggressive. Now, here we go. Deebo Samuel is what the software is recommending. I'm not so sure. Let's see what Hansen's Hints Mode has to say about that. Wow. Hansen's Hints Mode actually goes with Jerry Jeudy, but we are going to go against it here. And actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I've done so many I've done so many damn versions of this thing. I keep forgetting what I actually decided was the best route, and it was not Jerry Jeudy. It was actually Breece Hall. I know he's somewhat risky here, but it's a long-term investment. The Michael Carter situation, I did some earlier videos not even a week ago, and boy, that's already changed because things have started out slowly for Michael Carter, who is presumably already fallen behind Zonovan Knight, the Dark Knight. So that does complicate things just a little bit, but we'll see if Michael Carter makes the team. Moving on here, we are in round 4, picking out of the 6 hole. We're up to pick 43. We have Kelsey, Devontae Smith, and Breece Hall. We'll see what the software recommends. And again, if you're, hold on, did not want to mean to do that. Sorry about that. On the podcast side of things, I clicked the wrong button, but luckily it was "Are you sure, bruh?" button, and I wasn't sure, and I canceled out. Okay. So, oh boy, what in the world just happened there? We just got accidentally signed out. This is not going well. But here's the beauty of it. We saved this. This is saved. So when you do the fantasy points generator, you could use it primarily as a mock drafting tool. It doesn't sync with your live draft. Of course, you can manually enter picks, but we can just resume, by the way, this draft, and that's exactly what we did. Okay, so we are round 4, overall pick number 43. The advanced analytics is certainly what we take a look at first and foremost. So let's first get the recommendation. Okay, it is going Burrow. I actually downgraded Burrow's stats today. No. Actually, it was today. Yeah. After that injury here on August 1st. So even with that downgrade, the Hansen's Hints Mode, it does love. It does love, it does love both players, actually, J.K. Dobbins and Joe Burrow. Though there isn't great value at quarterback with Burrow in the 4th, especially with the injury. J.K. Dobbins, that's a good pick. But we did open with Kelsey again. So we let Deebo Samuel go in large part because, you know it if you've watched these other videos, I cannot quit Brandon Ayuk. So we are going to bring him into the fold. We're going to pass on JK, and we know what we can get otherwise at running back a little bit later. So I actually already did this, so just confirming what I did. Okay, yes. Brandon Ayuk was the optimal pick in round number 4. So we open with Travis Kelce, Devontae Smith, Breece Hall, Brandon Ayuk. Now we move on. We fast forward, let the draft automate there. Software is recommending Aaron Jones, which is an interesting name and not one that I have drafted much in this exercise. Let's take a look. We could take Aaron Jones, or we could wait and still get our guy Rachaad White. Kyle Pitts is out of this mix. So now I'm going to have to look again and see what I did. Okay. See, this is the randomization of this. J.K. Dobbins, the last time I did this was a Vail. Oh, he must still be a Vail. Okay. That's what I thought. Let's take a look here real quick. And, Aaron Jones he's tempting. It's just a little boring. There's JK right after him. Software goes Aaron Jones because he's projected to score 4.5 more points. So this is what we're talking about in terms of maximizing things. And I know J.K. Dobbins here on August 1st, the vibes have been a little shaky here, but I do know and think that things can change dramatically in 5 weeks. So in a month, we could be looking at J.K. Dobbins like refocused, healthy, ready to go for a big year for him. So I'm going to do it with JK in round number 5. Talk to me on August 8th or August 10th, and I might have a different story based on how things have gone, but we don't know that we don't have access to the future. I can't do these videos like over and over and over again. Now we're up to round number 5, and we do see that Rachaad White is a recommendation. We could wait around, still get Rachaad. But this is what I'm going to do. I don't think I know we're not looking at Kyle Pitts. And Rachaad White, we can wait a pick and still get, or we can get our guy James Cook, who I like a lot. And Deshaun Watson, we can wait a pick. So we can basically wait a pick and still get a quarterback or a running back that we like, and we don't need a tight end because Travis Kelce's in the fold. So I'm going to actually pass on Rachaad White for once. I'm not going to do it every single time, apparently, and I will get a receiver that I really like a lot. And we'll see how. Oh, Javonte is on the board here. It's a little early at 67, though. His ADP is 89. So I'm going to go ahead and get a wideout that I am very high on. I need to pull him up here and bring him into the mix of players that we could take. We'll uncheck running back and see what it recommends. Well, of course, it's going to recommend that guy, Deshaun Watson. It is Jordan Addison. That's who I wanted. That's my third receiver. It's not the greatest third receiver, but I do love Jordan Addison. I mean, his ADP is 71, and we got him at 68. So I think there's upside, obviously, to be had there with Jordan Addison. Kind of sucks that we passed up on Kyle Pitts. He's available. I actually could have taken him as a flex, but that wouldn't be very efficient, and that's really not how I draft. I like to fill out the ideal starting lineup, or what I think is an ideal starting lineup. So we'll continue on here. Oh, and we still get access to Rachaad White, but here's the problem. If we don't take Deshaun Watson now, we're not going to get him per the ADP. And so we're going to pass on Rachaad because we got this guy right here, James Cook, who we like quite a bit. So we'll pass on Rachaad, and we'll get kind of last chance saloon quarterback in round 7 at 79 overall in Deshaun Watson. I mean, that is the last of the ones that I feel really good about. So Deshaun's ADP is 83. We get him at 78. These are little minor overpays. Not bad at all, though, overall. So let's move on to round number 8. See what the recommendation is on the software, trying to crunch all the numbers, and there it is. It, of course, is James Cook. Will this draft be possible on August 20th? Probably not, honestly, but that is why you should subscribe to fantasypoints.com for 2023 and get this puppy in article form and also elsewhere in other forms, but mainly in the article. I will redo this exercise over and over again all summer and update the draft plan articles. So, but for you out there in YouTube land and all that good stuff, podcast land, we are throwing you a bone, and we are on the clock here in round number 9. And of course, it's at 102 overall, and my guy Sky Moore's ADP is 100.8. So you know I'm taking him here. It's in my contract. I'm required to. He is my wide receiver 4, and I absolutely love it because right now, on August 1st, if you're not picking Sky Moore to lead the chief wideouts and receptions, you're just a hater. I know it's early, But if you're not picking Sky Moore to lead the KC Chiefs in wide receiver receptions, you're either a hater or you need to go to the hospital right now because there's a serious problem. Let's move on to round number 10. See what the software says. No, we're going, BPA. We don't want Danny Dimes. No. We don't want another quarterback. See, Jerick McKinnon is available, but it's a little early. And I think we probably can get him on the way back. So I loved me that Khalil Herbert in this spot. His ADP is 119. We're at 115. This is so good in round 10. And maybe we'll get Roshan Johnson to kind of lock in that backfield economically here with 10th round or later picks to get like two of the three guys and probably the best two overall. Round number 11, as we roll through here, drafting out of the 6 hole, we've got Travis Kelce, Devontae Smith, Breece Hall, Brandon Ayuk, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Addison, Deshaun Watson, James Cook, Sky Moore, and Khalil Herbert. These are all players I'm very, very high on. They are mostly still ascending players. There is some risk here built in with some injury guys, but big time payoff. I would probably be happy if just one of the two between Breece Hall and J.K. Dobbins was a grand slam. I'd take it because between James Cook right there and Khalil Herbert, I'll probably be fine at RB2. Obviously, I'd like to get hits on both guys, and if I do, it's lights out, I think. Let's move on to get some depth here. We have our quarterback. We are with 4 running backs, so we're good there. And we've got 4 wide receivers and the tight end. So we've got balance, pretty good roster, pretty good players here. And once again, we can actually go and just get Jerick McKinnon again for depth. And he's a good pick, too, for this team because, God forbid, Breece Hall is slow out of the gate week 1 and or J.K. Dobbins. A guy like Jerick McKinnon may lose his job by midseason, but early on, he'll be the guy. Or one of the key guys, along with, of course, Pacheco there in KC. Let's go to round 12 and continue to draft gorifically. We got a little Adam Thielen here. I can see it. I do kind of like him. We can just grab Roshan here. What's the priority on Thielen? I do love Juwan Johnson, but it does feel to me like maybe we go with the guy who's actually listed at the top, and that is Dalton Schultz, just in case. It's kind of a boring backup, but pretty good one, though. Round 13, do we get our guy Kenny Pickett? Because obviously we're locked into that pretty much. No, we don't, because I think we're going to go Roshan. We're going to go with Roshan here and get Kenny with our next pick, Roshan Johnson at 151. That's actually his ADP. And now we will mock to our next pick as we wrap this up. And it is, in fact, Kenny Pickett. I love Kenny Pickett in general, but I love the price. I mean, we just got him at 164 overall. His ADP is 169. And I do believe he's a guy that, let's say in 2 years, might be drafted around 80 overall, something like that. So, maybe around where Lawrence is being drafted right now. I think that's a pretty interesting comparison. Who's better? I think Trevor's a little bit more talented. Let's move on here, though. We do have our backup tight end, and we'll end it with one of my favorite guys just in general, John Mechie. Boy, you can't have it all. I mean, I like Paris Campbell, but I am actually, as of right now, August 1st, projecting more points for Mechie, I believe. Let's see, 138 versus 124. So if you sort by projected points on the available player thing, if you're watching the video, it's all quarterbacks. But Mechie is the first non-quarterback, so we'll take him to wrap up the draft. And there it is. We are going to be rolling with a starting lineup of Deshaun Watson, Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins. I know we got some injury issues there. Let's assume health for now. Wide receiver 1 is Devontae Smith. Wide receiver 2 is Brandon Ayuk. And wide receiver 3 is Jordan Addison. Ideally, you'd like them all knocked down a peg, with like Smith is your 2, Ayuk is your 3, Addison is your 4. Maybe that's unrealistic. But we, of course, have Kelce as our starting tight end. Big difference. So that's a damn gorific lineup. Of course, James Cook and Sky Moore in the flex. And, someone's going to disappoint. We have on the bench, depth-wise, Khalil Herbert, who's very interesting, could get 200 touches and, really return nicely on that 10th round value or ADP. Jerick McKinnon, nice little depth guy, tied to a great offense. Dalton Schultz, boring, but pretty steady. Tight end 2, Roshan Johnson, trying to kind of lock in a little bit of the Bear backfield in round, what was that, 13. My guy Kenny Pickett, because he's such a value. That's why I take him every time. And then we'll go John Mechie as our wide receiver 5. Now, we are a little light at receiver with 5, but I mean, certainly not that bad. And, this league will likely have players like Paris Campbell, Isaiah Hodgins on the waiver wire, Devontae Parker. So not too shabby. But the final test, and I have not done this actually all the way through to see, is how did I do against the software? So let's take a look at the draft one more time. I'll roll through the draft in order of the round, starting at 6. Travis Kelce, Devontae Smith, Breece Hall, Brandon Ayuk, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Addison, Deshaun Watson, James Cook, Sky Moore. Just nothing but terrific picks here for yours truly, at least. Khalil Herbert in round 10, Jerick McKinnon, Dalton Schultz, Roshan Johnson, Kenny Pickett, and round 15, John Mechie. And the survey says, how did we rank in terms of projected points on our roster and in our starting lineup compared to the other 11 teams in this draft? All automated, of course, the computer drafting. And we scroll to team 6, and there you go. We pulled in the most starter points and total points, coming in at numero uno. That is why I did this multiple times. These ADPs will shift. It'll be tougher to draft teams like these, but there is a blueprint and a look at how to draft out of the number 6 hole. It will be Travis Kelce time. But keep in mind, if Kelce happens to go at 5, if you are drafting at 6, it does work out, at least on August 1st, well to get a little bit of value on Kyle Pitts, or at the very least, you don't have to overpay for Kyle Pitts. You might actually get him in the 6th round, or I guess in the 5th, which would not be too bad. So I will wrap it up here. And thanks for listening to the pod, watching the vid. Of course, I do an article for all of these, by the way. You can check that out on the site. Thanks for doing the voodoo that you do. And we'll catch you next time here on Hansen's Hints and FantasyPoints.com.